We don't have to talk about the movie. We don't have to worry about it at all.
Okay.
But No, we have to. Hello! Yeah, we do. Hello, I'm Hot Toddy.
I'm Miss Pengrino.
And welcome to another episode, let's split it, of Get
Real.
On this week's episode, we talk about a movie that nobody's talking about, and I think there's a good reason for that, and you're not going to talk about it much either. But that's why we are. This is our job, is to talk about these movies. We're going to talk about the latest Angelina Jolie vehicle, Those Who Wish Me Dead. And boy, is that a title for the ages.
I mean, it's accurate and depressing.
Where do we even begin with a movie like this?
I mean,
where do we even go? Well, look, I mean, this was... I know that we're still in the era of, hey, we had a pandemic, so let's just put out anything because people will go out and see it. I know we're still in that, but I need a little bit of cooperation. I need a little bit more.
People like Angelina Jolie. They'll pay. They'll pay.
Which is weird because that is true. I love Angelina Jolie.
I do like her. Yeah,
she's been in a lot of good movies. I enjoy her work. And I thought I would enjoy this film. But
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, that will always be my favorite.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith
will always be my favorite.
The first Tomb Raider was incredible. You know, she's done amazing things. But this movie, oh. And look, I am not by any stretch of the imagination a great film reviewer. I like films. I will admit to liking films just because they're entertaining. I may not even follow the plot, the story, but if they're entertaining, I'll love the film.
But here's the thing. You like bad movies.
I do like bad movies.
And this was a bad movie.
But even I don't like this movie.
But we didn't like it.
Yeah.
It was
that bad. I have reviewed B movies on Get Real before, and God, no. Lynn Kavisinski blows this film out of the water. Challenge of the Five Gauntlets was amazing compared to this film.
There was sort of a plot.
Bitch, are you for real?
Well, let's just get into it. Obviously, on Get Real, we don't like to give too much away.
Right.
But
not that there's much to give away.
The structure of the story is something has happened. Some sort of thing involving the government. I guess is it CIA, FBI. Somebody turned over somebody at some point.
So, a forensic accountant found some information that could derail just a large portion of government. They didn't specify government. They just said government. But it seemed like mayors, governors, and so forth.
And so the government in retaliation start killing off these people that did the exposing.
Right.
We catch up with one guy who has a kid, and so they realize that something terrible has gone down and they've been exposed, and so they take off. They run away. Secondary story is Angelina Jolie. She is is she a park ranger? What is her, what's the role?
Two things. First off, you can't advertise Angelina Jolie as the number one star when her story is secondary.
And you don't even need it.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Her story was unneeded through the whole thing.
It
had nothing to do with the overall story.
It didn't. So she's not a park ranger. She's a fire safety ranger.
So, she helps fight. She specifically fights wildfires.
Yes.
So she takes care of the forest. She's not a forest ranger. I don't know her occupation.
She's
It was never explained.
Fire paratrooper.
I don't know, but she has something to do with fire, but she's not exclusively a firefighter. They live out in the wilderness. These people live out in the wilderness.
Heavily wooded area. She helps fires.
She didn't help fire. She helps destroy fire, put out fire.
Okay, she helps with fires.
What?
She helps with fires. She helps put him out. And
So,
anyways,
in this film, she helps preserve essentially the forest, and
yeah.
the sub that's the subplot of this movie.
Yeah.
And the plot is like she has been essentially, she's had her badge taken away from her, her gun and badge taken away because she failed a psych test after she witnessed 3 little boys get killed in a forest fire. It wasn't her fault. They tried to save them. It wasn't her fault, but she witnessed them die, and
But she failed because she thinks it's her fault.
it messed her up. She thinks it's her
So.
fault, so she failed a psych test, and now she's basically she spends her life in the tower of just overwatching the forest.
Well, is it
doing
really
nothing.
her life? Because this whole story, it's like her first day in the tower, and it takes a turn.
Well, that's
So it's really not a life.
it's
like
really
one day.
It's really convenient for the film
Yeah.
that all of this stuff goes down immediately after she gets this new position
Immediately.
as the park ranger sitting in a tower person.
Yeah.
Feel free to put in the comments the description, the actual names of these roles, these jobs, because I don't know. I'm confused.
Because we're sure that there are names.
So, also in this
Sorry.
subplot is her ex-boyfriend / beloved deputy of the community and his wife, who is pregnant. And this deputy just so happens to be the brother-in-law of the man who's on the run from being exposed. And so the little child, which most of this whole film is based around, that's his uncle. So they're on their way to get with the uncle and try to hide out. And meanwhile, the bad guys are chasing after them. One of the bad guys, by the way, I don't know if you noticed this, is the guy that plays Beast in the X-Men films. Yeah, not Kelsey Grammer, the other guy. He's in this film as one of the bad guys. So it was pretty cool. But I liked him. I like him in anything, but not this movie.
I feel like we've already...
Well,
There's too many stories that are supposed to combine, but they don't really combine, but they sort of do.
but we've given you the plot, is that this guy
Yeah.
is on the run, and so he doesn't get killed, and tries to hide his little boy, and he tells his little boy everything.
No, he doesn't tell him.
No, he writes it down for him.
He
That's
writes it
right.
down because he doesn't want his son to know.
Gives him a note.
bad things.
Yeah, he doesn't want him to know. And because of that, we suffer along with the boy because we don't know what the hell happened. And we don't know
No
what he
idea.
did. Until the very end of the movie, we don't know what happens.
No, we still don't know.
We don't know what that was all about. But he told him not to tell the police, but to tell the news. Go
The
to the
media.
news. Tell the media.
Tell the media.
But because, as you know, in this era,
They're the ones who count.
everybody believes the news. Everyone, or they don't believe them at all. If they support your narrative, you believe the news. But if they don't support your narrative, you don't believe the news. So I don't think telling the news is the best way to go about it. But what do we know? We're just YouTubers. This is so hard. You don't understand. This movie was terrible. But okay, so that's the plot, right?
Yeah.
Now, spoilers, put the big spoiler sign on this thing. If you don't... Well, I don't know if I have the technology to do all that, but here's the spoiler.
You don't have to. I made the noise for you. It's fine. Just put the sign. Spoilers.
Do you want to... But anyway, so... Spoiler here. The dad does get killed. He does get murdered by the government whatevers. The little boy gets away. So
That's
now...
not really a spoiler, because had you watched the trailer...
I don't know. Well, the little boy...
You kinda knew that
the
was
little
gonna
boy
happen.
ends up with Angelina Jolie. So
yeah.
they end up on this collision course with wackiness where the little boy ends up with Angelina Jolie, and now Angelina Jolie has to keep him safe from these wackadoos. And that's basically the plot. And
That's basically the movie.
it's basic and you probably see it in the previews. Wouldn't you know it? A forest fire breaks out because well, I won't give away what happens, but a forest fire breaks out, and so
Doesn't
now
break out. It started.
well, it started again. I don't want to give too much away, but so it happens. It happens, and so now she's got to save the boy from the bad guys and the forest fire. Although that was another thing that bothered me was that this movie really kind of presses on the idea that she's protecting him from more of the forest fire than the bad guys. That's what I got out of the... I knew there were bad guys chasing them, but in the previews it makes it look like she's trying to get away from the fire more. That really is just like the last few minutes of the film.
Yeah.
It doesn't... the forest fire doesn't make much
overall,
of an appearance in the film.
She's just someone he can trust.
But it's all foreshadowing. The whole thing with her and having a psych problem is foreshadowing for this forest fire. She now has to deal with the forest fire. But this movie is filled with so many unbelievable things. Let's talk about the thing that is the dumbest. And again, this is a bit of a spoiler.
There's one thing.
There's one thing. And I'm going to spoil this because it bugs the fuck out of me. Huh?
There's more than one.
Well, okay.
There's a lot more.
This is the one thing that bothers me the most. Angelina Jolie gets struck by lightning.
No, she didn't. No, she didn't. It moved
She
her.
says she doesn't, but she did. It went through her back, through her foot, and you see the aftermath that she's pretty hurt in those spots. But she gets up and walks away like it was like nothing happened.
She does one of those.
Yeah. Oh
I'm
no.
okay.
Oh, I got conked on the head like Harry and Marv in the Home Alone films.
She's got like the star pattern scar, a busted foot.
But the other thing is they make it seem like lightning strikes like every 2 seconds in a field, like in a wooded area in the field. That doesn't happen. If you are hiking and a thunderstorm breaks out, definitely take cover. But don't worry, lightning isn't going to strike every 2 seconds wherever you are.
Question for the comments, though. If you do live in a highly wooded area, and there is a blank part of this field, is there something that may attract lightning? Because we think it doesn't happen, but we don't live in a wooded area.
Maybe I don't know enough.
So maybe this does happen.
Maybe,
but literally, they were running through this giant field, and she was like, okay, you run, stop, I'll run, stop. You run, stop, I'll run, stop.
And that's how they get through the scene. But she still gets hit by lightning.
Because
like
the lightning
Looney Tunes.
every 10 feet or so will strike.
It's like a Looney Tunes cartoon. Like, it does, but she doesn't. She still gets hit by lightning.
Personally, I thought there had to be something sort of metal or
that's what I thought.
Attracting in some sort. So maybe there's something in the ground. I don't know. Again, to the comments, that's Teebs over there.
Teebs the cat makes her annual appearance on every show. Here
if you live in a highly wooded area and there's a lightning storm, does this happen? Or is it just total bullshit? Because we're right now thinking it's total bullshit.
Teebs the cat thinks it's total bullshit. Tell him.
Okay.
But no, this is true. Yeah,
she
did. She said it's total bullshit on the way down. But no, yeah. So she gets hit by lightning. It doesn't make any sense. So that's really
because then too, after she gets hit, it just stops.
It just stops. It never happens again.
It never strikes in that area.
It never rains. It never storms. It's all over with.
Yeah.
So it's so bizarre, and that's what really bothers me is like there's so much that's not explained. How do you get? Why is there so much lightning? Why does she get hit by lightning? Why out of the millions of things in the forest that could be struck by lightning, she gets struck by lightning? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's just
why is a tree not struck by lightning?
And it's just perfect, of course, that she would get struck by lightning. Out of anybody in the area, all the trees, it was like very convenient for the film. But the thing that bothers me the most about this film is the fact that we never know really what the point of it is. You don't understand the plot of the film. You just know that there's a secret, and that secret is endangering the life of a little boy, and the little boy meets up with Angelina Jolie, and she protects him through the whole film. That's basically it.
Yeah, there's a point, but no point.
There's no point. There really is no point for this film except Angelina Jolie and a little boy runs through the woods. That's it.
Yeah, and they bond, and that's great. But then we get to the end, and
everybody dies. We're just the spoilers. Not everybody, but people you don't want to die. And then what's the most infuriating thing? At the very end of the film, Miss Pengrino.
Oh, the little boy is just like, where do I go now?
He's completely fucked.
And Angelina Jolie's like, I don't know, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know. What? And you never find out.
What?
The little boy, if you've ever seen the movie Space Raiders, I know this is a weird comparison, but in the movie Space Raiders, everybody in the little boy's life dies, and he's just kind of like on his own. That's basically how this film ends. Angelina Jolie's still alive. I won't tell you who dies. His dad dies, but other than that, no. But then it's like, what is going to happen to this little boy? You don't know. You don't get like an epilogue.
Does he have another family member he can go to?
Right.
Does Angelina had formed this bond with him? Does she keep him? Does he still need to? Does he need to go into witness protection?
It doesn't have an epilogue, and you don't know if you don't know if he's exactly. You don't know if he's safe now, or you don't. It's so muddled. And then again, and we can't stress this enough, you don't know what the point of the movie is. You never find out what the secret was. At the end of the film, the news, which is not Huey in the news, but the news comes to the little boy, and he supposedly explains everything at the end of the film, but you don't hear it, you don't know what's going on.
Also, at a point in the movie, so the little boy was not told this information, right? We said this. The dad wrote it down on a piece of paper. In a movie of fire, of water, of woods, of elements of all kinds. And yet when he tells the news at the end, this secret information that we never learn, that's very, very aggravating, the paper miraculously seems to have made it through all of this shit. It has made it. And that blows my mind, because this piece of paper should have been done for like 10 minutes into the freaking movie, okay? So
I hate this movie so much.
There's so much unexplained. I don't know if they were trying to set it up for a second second show. Probably not. But there's so much left at the end that you just want to know that you don't know. What up, Picard?
Make it so.
They should have made it so. I know. I specifically wanted like a 3 years later or 10 years later. I don't care how many years later, but some years later.
A simple epilogue to explain what happened to the little boy.
To see if the government people who were exposed for this thing got taken care of. Did this little boy get taken care of? Is Angelina still with this little boy? Is this little boy's family like taking him in? Like, what? Ah! Yes! This is why we didn't want to talk about this movie, because there's really nothing to talk about this movie, because this movie has no point!
God bless my parents. Listen, my parents, they used to
try
be,
so far.
They have been so good. They took us out last weekend for dinner and a movie, and we really appreciate it.
So
but
the whole point of that is just so we can have family nights.
Family nights.
Which we love.
Yeah.
It's great.
And just an excuse to go to the movies, because the movies are open now. But their choice in movies hasn't been exactly Johnny on the spot lately, and they keep choosing these films that depress the hell out of me.
So depressing.
And you. It's bad, but we felt we needed to share this with you just in case you were thinking about seeing this film, which leads us to segue. Miss Pengrino, would you recommend to those who wish me dead?
No, I wouldn't. I'm sorry. And I know you're thinking, oh, maybe she's just not an action person. She's just not a drama person. I mean, no.
I love
dramas. Don't normally love those movies. I am a comedy and a crime person through and through. But I still can appreciate when it's a good story and it's a good plot line and it's good.
Angelina Jolie is still great when she's good.
Yes.
When she's in a good film. But this was not a good film for anybody.
It didn't give her any sort of, like, she is a very experienced, very well-rounded actress. And
this just did nothing for her.
It didn't. It didn't showcase her in any of her abilities.
No.
It didn't showcase any of them in any of their abilities.
It just was all around bad. And like I said, the plot was muddled. The cinematography wasn't that great. The acting was good. I did like the acting. Like I said, you had some stellar actors in this film.
And some of the action scenes were decent.
And some of the action scenes were really well done. There's some really good action. I will say, if I have to give it a positive, it has some really great action in it. But it's so depressing. It's just not a film that you want to see right now coming out of a pandemic. I feel like if you want to go see a movie in the theater after a pandemic, you want to see something fun. Well, comedy. Unfortunately, comedies were on the out in terms of theaters even before the pandemic.
That's true.
But you want to see something exciting. You want to see like an Avengers film. You want to see something like that. You don't want to see.
But even those have some comedy in them.
Yeah, but you just don't want to see a movie like this. So I have to say, I can't recommend Those Who Wish Me Dead either.
I mean, normally even depressing movies have some comedic relief, and the most comedic relief was when a certain comedy actor shows up in it for like 2 seconds, and it's more of like a...
He didn't even say anything funny.
He didn't say anything funny. It was just amusing to me because I know him as a comedy actor.
He didn't even do anything funny.
So...
It was worthless. It was a worthless cameo.
Yeah.
And the film, in my opinion, is worthless. So, yeah, if you absolutely must go see a film right now...
Wait till it comes out.
I get it.
Don't go to theaters, man.
It's also on HBO Max, and our mutual friend said that she watched it on, and she was miserable through the whole thing.
Yeah,
she
she
watched it
didn't
on
like it either.
HBO Max. So I just wouldn't. Again, we're not professional movie reviewers, so if you want to go see it, fine. But
the only thing is if
wouldn't.
you are like an absolute Angelina Jolie fan and you just want to see every movie in her repertoire, I get it. But like,
that was a big word. You hurt yourself?
No, thank you.
Yeah.
So smart.
That's so small.
Anyways, if you just want to see it because Angelina Jolie's in it and you have to see every movie in her repertoire, I get it. Still, I would probably wait till it gets put out on Netflix or it gets put out on Hulu, or you can rent it on Amazon Prime for like $3.99. Don't waste your money on it right now.
By the way, we're
just
selling
not...
this shit, so if you want it, you can have it.
Comment below.
Say if you want to buy it. We'll work out all the details. But bottom line is,
completely a whole other thing.
But that's another good segue into something we'll talk about in a second. But bottom line is, don't waste your time.
It's a waste.
For those who wish me dead.
It really is a waste. Sorry, guys.
But speaking of things we're selling, segue. Don't forget to check out the Super Fuzz merch store at Teespring, which you can find. It's in our About section on the YouTube page, the Super Fuzz YouTube page. And, of course, make sure you click, like, subscribe, ring the bell so that you know that when we've uploaded a new episode. And, of course, there's always new episodes of Get Real, Play It Out, Stomp Hot Toddy.
Let me tell ya.
There's a bunch of them on the way. And, of course, the Smokin' Hot Toddcast on SoundCloud. That's also in our About section. So you can keep up with us all the time. Follow Miss Pengrino at Pengrino on Twitter, me at Smokin' Hot Toddy on Twitter, and Superfuzz Videos at Superfuzz Videos on Twitter. That's the official Superfuzz Productions Twitter page. So go follow us there. But yeah, overall, don't go see Those Who Wish Me Dead.
Especially being Mental Health Awareness Month. Shout out to everybody.
Yes.
This is not helping to your mental health, so...
This is not the film for you, so don't go see it. And that's our review of Those Who Wish Me Dead.
Tell them that God's gonna cut you down. Tell them that God's gonna cut you down.
Have we been sitting here for 3 years?
Yep.
Damn. Maybe we didn't need an epilogue after all. Nothing's changed.
My ass is numb.